Welcome back to the Big Sunday Show. 16 days, who's counting, until the midterm elections. The bloodbath comes soon. And today, Democrats, well, they are a bit worried about voter suppression and voter turnout.
Democracy is on the ballot.
I am worried about the level of voter turnout among young people and working people who will be voting Democratic.
We're seeing election workers quitting because of threats. And then on top of it, you've got election deniers up and down the ballot, running for election. Why shouldn't we be scared?
Well, I think we should be concerned.
You think? But last week, Georgia broke early voting turnout records. So are Democrats just trying to make excuses if they lose? Joe, first of all, early voter turnout, that's normally a good thing for Democrats. So then why are they complaining?
That's the thing. Usually more Democrats vote in mail-in voting and early voting, and it's exploding in a place like Georgia.
So then what's the problem?
The problem is that Stacey Abrams continues to insist that there is voter suppression in Georgia. She actually had the audacity to say that, oh, it's actually not about turnout. Then what is it about? She said exactly this. It's not about turnout, it's about access. Well, that's the same thing. People are having no problem voting in Georgia or in other places around the country. But I could preview already what's going to happen when Republicans take back the House and probably the Senate on election night. You're going to hear on CNN and MSNBC that democracy just died tonight.
Yeah.
Right? That kind of hyperbole. And then the funny thing is that democracy will die because people voted. They had no issue with voting, and there was a change in power in Washington because things were going poorly, and that's how democracy dies?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, this is an MSNBC headline, by the way. Beware the GOP's spin on Georgia's massive voter turnout numbers. We definitely don't know enough to support any wild claims that the state's new election law has helped secure elections. In fact, we have every reason to believe it will negatively affect turnout. What is MSNBC trying to accomplish by basically, you know, they're setting the stage for what is arguably going to be a bloodbath after Republicans win, because they're going to accuse Republicans of winning unfairly.
So here's what they do. They can tell what party-affiliated voters are voting early. So they're seeing, I imagine, that a lot of Republican voters are coming out in Georgia and voting early. So that's freaking them out. They don't want to see a big number of votes. They want to see a big number of Democrat votes. And this is all about making sure they can change election laws. They don't want to make sure we have safe and secure elections. They want to change the law to make sure we have mail-in balloting. Everyone gets a ballot. There's no voter ID. It's ripe for fraud, and they're good at fraud. And they want these kind of changes in the electoral system. The way you get that is to claim that a group of people have been disenfranchised. And if you ask the African-American community, they want voter ID. Like 75% of them want voter ID because they go, that makes sense for a secure election. So Democrats, again, like the economy, on election law, are wrong.
No, and voter ID makes perfect sense. Tell that to Stacey Abrams, though, because she warns of voter suppression. You're welcome, Sean. Let's watch.
Yesterday, we saw record turnout for early voting. Yes, we should be excited. But let's remember what that means. It does not mean that voter suppression doesn't exist. That's like saying that there are no more sharks in the water because more people get in. We know that voter suppression is alive and well in Georgia.
How do we know that exactly, Lisa?
Is this the big lie we've been
the big
hearing
lie.
about?
Yeah.
Are they going to deny
to
an election?
Yeah,
These
I
dirty
know.
election deniers.
God forbid somebody do that,
Democrats
right?
are the OGs when it comes to denying elections. Democrats in Congress objected to the certification of the 2000 presidential, 2004, 2016. Nancy Pelosi said the election was stolen. She said, Russia stole it, right? So Democrats are the OGs when it comes to that. And the one election we complain about is when you had unprecedented mail-in ballots, an unprecedented election. And we said, hey, maybe we should just make sure that everything's verified and authentic. But they are the OG election deniers. And of course, they're setting themselves up for a big loss.
I just have a quick question.
What?
What does OG stand for?
Oh,
The original gangster.
Gangster.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I've never heard of that acronym
That's
before.
okay. You don't even know how to take a selfie.
Did Sean know this? Did you know this?
I did know that.
Oh, come
All right.
on.
Can I get out the side door?
Yeah.
Can you tell him what he did with the selfie?
That's the exit sign right there.
Thank you.
Wait, Joy Behar, by the way, just in line with Democrats, right? Yeah. So she's already, again, setting the stage to say that basically if we win, it's fair, but if Republicans win, you cheated. That's like something I did when I was 12. Watch.
This is what they're up to now, the Republican Party, because they can't win, and they know they can't win because the demographics are changing, and the future is not Republican Party. So they have to cheat.
Oh my God! I mean, it's like, so she's setting the stage. So if Republicans win, you know what's going to happen on the View the next day.
She's right. The demographics are changing. The Hispanic voters are leaving in droves the Democrat Party and coming to the Republican Party. It is changing. No, can I go back to this point of the insurrection? Right, yeah. The insurrection. The insurrection really was Democrats who used the power and influence of government, the FBI and the DOJ, to overturn an election. So whatever they accuse you of doing, they're doing it times 10. Election fraud times 10.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at polls, we had a poll up about the mainstream media becoming a major threat to democracy. I mean, if you watch The View or MSNBC, I would say so. But hey, a majority of America believes 59% of the mainstream media is actually a major threat.
The best thing about Donald Trump was the delegitimizing the media. Because what he would do when he was asked a BS question, he would be like, that question is BS, next question. Or I remember when he did an interview with ABC's David Muir, and he was talking about the Women's March, and Trump was like, oh, yeah, well, March for Life's tomorrow, but you don't cover it. And his mouth, because they're not used to Republicans calling him out. Now you've got Governor DeSantis doing it. You've got Carrie Lake being like, I've got the receipts about all these people who have previously denied elections, but I'm an election denier? Like, spare me, right? So I love that more Republicans have grown a backbone, and they're standing up to the illegitimate media.
Joe, do I need to tell you what BS stands for? Or are you good on that?
Beefsteak.
Exactly.
Yes, thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.